Morning everyone. There's Pat.
Morning.
Busy washing up, tidying up. Nice day today. I've had to pull the blind down because it's just
Sun's affecting it.
affecting the camera. I couldn't see anything. I was just in the black, in the dark. Right. It is 66 going on 67 now. 1966, 67 that is. Yeah. 66, 67, that were a long time ago when I was that age. Fit as a lot then. Not like now. Yeah. Well, when I got back, Pat says I never changed after I met her, but I did. Because I stopped going out on the booze. I started saving. And I started sending money to Pat because I was determined to get married to Pat. And I wanted to save up. So I stopped drinking anywhere near as much. And I read more. God, I remember buying that book, A Kind of Loving by Stan Barstow. Subsequently, I've read all his books. I love Stan Barstow. And I remember buying that book, A Kind of Loving, and going up to the Roundhouse and sitting in that cafeteria of theirs, and I read it all in one day. I was absolutely engrossed. It were almost as though Stan Barstow knew my family. He was describing life, working class life down to a T. A brilliant book that, and I read it in a day. And I started playing snooker in Naffy, and I started going to the cinema every night just about, because the cinema in the camp, they changed the film every day, so a different film on every night. So I started going there. So I did change and kept out of trouble quite a lot until, well, later on. Yeah, I was never out of trouble for long, really. But the lifesaver, because I mean, I was totally, Pat was on my mind all the time. I lost interest in the army. In fact, I developed a hatred for the army because I was too far away. I was stuck over in Germany and Pat were in England, and I finished up in MRS with asthma at one point, and I hoped it might get me out. I hoped I might get a medical discharge, but that didn't happen. But what saved me really was Bovington, because they sent me to do driver training in Bovington, and I think it was a 6-week course, and but I mean, the driver training went well because when I got there, I knew what to do because I'd watched Ray Starr driving that much that when I got behind the sticks of a tank, I knew what to do. So I found it easy. I just knew how to drive, and it was no problem driving a tank. But the main thing was I just lived for the weekends, because there was a bus. Every Friday after tea there was a bus, and I got on that bus every Friday, and it brought me to Leeds. I mean, it took a long time. It took till 2 in the morning, I think, to get into Leeds. And then I used to have to walk from Leeds to Pat's house. And we spent every weekend together. And then on a Sunday at tea time, I'd have to get the bus back. And that got me back into Bovington at 2 o'clock in the morning at something daft, and I'd have a few hours kip. And that was great to have had that 6-week period when I could see Pat on a more regular basis. And so I came back, and throughout 1967 I just was going through the motions. Things happened. I know I went on some kind of a exercise where I teamed up with the American Gilloas. The Americans have these things called Gilloas which floated in a river. They had a platform, and they sucked water in and blew it out of the back, and they could hover in one place. And we were on a scheme where we were supposed to be joining the ark up to these American Gilloas. But Russia invade Czechoslovakia, and we were put on emergency standby. What a laugh that was, because we'd no guns. So they had to send us guns down to us, and they forgot to send ammo with them. So we had us guns but no ammo, and we were on 24-hour standby to move out. Where? To Czechoslovakia? What were we going to do? I don't know. There were things like that did happen, and was that where I made my money last all? Yeah, well, I was drinking there, but I went drinking on my own. I didn't go with blokes. I went on my own, and they were blowing the money on meals and stuff. But I just had divided my money up to so many glasses of beer every night. I think it was 7. I could have 7 glasses of beer every night, and that's what I did. So at the end of the period I was still going out, whereas all the blokes had run out of money, and they were all trying to borrow money off me, but I won't lend them out. So things just kept happening. A year we went to the Arts Mountains, and me and Andy set fire to a ruddy tent, so we finished up sleeping in half a tent while we were at the Arts Mountains. That was supposed to be, I don't know what that was, I can't remember. Something to do with canoeing and stuff. I don't know what all that were about. I can't remember a thing about the Arts Mountains. Yeah, just things happened, and life was just an interruption. All I was interested in was Pat, getting letters and writing letters, and yeah, my whole life revolved around Pat then. Yeah, can't say any more about that period really. No. Yeah, just it all happened then when we got married. But that's later, I think. One of the other things I did as well, I used to go babysitting for married blokes, and get a bit of money that way. I have to say, I mean, there were some great things happened in 1967. I mean, I think the most significant thing for me was Sergeant Pepper's album. I thought it were absolutely incredible. I used to listen to that all the time. But it was not a very good period. In my life at that time, and I'm sure it wasn't for Pat really. You were fending off various people. Yeah. Just a bit of a tortuous year, that. Waiting, just... What was... You had anything?
Not really. I mean, it was a strange period, wasn't it? Because you weren't there and I were at home, and I were having difficulty with my mum. Because at one point she's encouraging me and Trevor to go out with one another, and she even gave us her own engagement ring so we could get engaged, didn't she?
Yeah.
And then next minute she's throwing a wobbly, not wanting me to see him, and sort of putting a spoke in it, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She wasn't well. She had cancer, which she was staving off with tablets, and she was trying to keep a job going. She was a nurse, and she looked after cancer patients, so she knew what were coming to herself and that. But she were always she were a bit one of these people that cry wolf, and you never knew whether she were being serious or not. And she'd started drinking because she were in pain, and it were affecting everybody's lives, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she'd stay up all night.
Never went to bed,
Never
did she?
went to bed. And she'd want me to stay up with her. So consequently, the following day I couldn't go to school because I were shattered. So we that's how we were going on at that period. And so when Trevor was at home, it was quite difficult, but it were even difficult when he wasn't there. All these letters arriving, and some of them went missing, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they
As
did.
we found out when we got married, Trevor thought we had loads of money to go abroad with, and we only had half as much, didn't we?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's life.
That's how it was in that period.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did come home on leave. At some point during 1967, I would have come home.
You were trying to do cadres and different things in England, weren't you, at Bovey? And
Card, of course, were in Germany, but
you did do quite a few courses to get home.
But what did I get promoted before we got married? I think I might have done. Yeah, that you had to do a Carder course, a kind of your training all over again, but more advanced. And they said I was too immature to do it. They did. They didn't want me to do it. And I suppose I was, but I didn't know what they meant by being immature. I think they meant mentally immature, whereas I thought they meant physically immature. Yeah. Not not a good period that 1967, was it, darling?
No.
Yeah. Aye. Okay. Sorry.
Right.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just
No.
going to say bye.
Bye, yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.